Since 2011, the UN has held an International Day for the victims of enforced disappearances every August the 30th. This Thursday, friends, families and activists across the globe are marking the event with a call to governments to do more to find those who are still unaccounted for. Now, since the UN's Working Group on Enforced Disappearances was set up almost 4 decades ago, 56,000 cases have been flagged up in over 100 countries, but thousands of other cases are never reported to the international body. Of course, other NGOs have jumped on the bandwagon to raise the alarm bell as well. Well, for more, I'm joined now in the studio by Lucille Marbeau, a spokesperson for the International Committee of the Red Cross. Thank you for being with us here on France 24. Now, 5 years ago, the Red Cross launched an online tool called Trace the Face. Talk us through why that was set up and how it works.
Yes. So Trace the Face was created because at some point we were also faced with a challenge which was linked to migrants going missing while traveling to Europe. So Trace the Face was created in 2013 by a number of European Red Crosses in order to be able to help migrants and their families whose relatives have gone missing while going to Europe. And the way it works is that people are going to publish their photos online to advertise their search. So when you browse through the website, you're going to see pictures of people who are going to say, I'm looking for my husband, I'm looking for my wife, I'm looking for my children. And currently today, there are 4,000 people who are still looking and who have their photos on Trace the Face.
What results, though, have you reported since this whole project was launched in 2013?
Yes, well, luckily it works. And so up to date since the launch, there's been 114 families who have been reconnected thanks to Trace the Face. And for now this year, we have an average of every week one family who is being reconnected. So the good news is that it's working better and better. But of course, in order to help even more families be able to reconnect, we need people to know about this tool. We need people also to approach us. So that means Red Cross office, Red Crescent office, an ICRC office, in order to advertise their search, and so we can also help them in their search for their missing relative.
Now, you've also, if I understood correctly, you've also been harnessing the latest technology to try and help people retrace their relatives. Talk us through, if you can, some of the software that you're using. I know you're in the very early stages of this software, but talk us through exactly how that works.
Well, this is really quite an innovative tool for the Red Cross to have, first of all, a website. And linked to the website, there is a database where there's more information than what's purely on the website. On the website, you're just going to have the picture of the person looking for his missing relative and who he is looking for. In the database, you're going to have much more information on the missing person. There's going to be photos also of missing persons. So what we're doing right now is developing a facial recognition tool, which will enable us to browse through all the pictures we have within this database. And this is being developed with Microsoft. It's going to be able to recognize even families, relatives from one single family. So it's not only going to be used to trace the same person, but also relatives within the same family. Other issue is, for example, people don't write names the same way. So in the database, some Red Crosses are going to put the first name first and last name after. Others are going to do the opposite. If you take Arabic names, they're going to put several A's. They're going to write things differently. So with a name algorithm, we're also going to be able, and actually it did happen once that we had a match that way. We were able to reconnect families because the names had been written actually differently, and the algorithm recognized that it was the same person.
In your view, is this a problem that's getting worse, or are you managing to make inroads to try and stamp it out?
The terrible thing with disappearances linked to migration to Europe is that we don't have figures. We don't have proper figures. So we have a baseline, but it's hard to really evaluate how many people exactly go missing each year trying to go to Europe. So this is anyway a humanitarian issue we are tackling, and I'd say whatever the numbers, because at some point if one family is looking for a missing relative, our mission is to help them, whatever happens.
And is there any way, in your view, to try and prevent people from losing touch in the first place? Is there more that governments can be doing to try and keep families and loved ones together?
Yes, we have clear messages to governments for that, is to, of course, prevent disappearances, and there's several ways of doing that. And what we also do is many families get separated while coming to Europe, and we call it secondary separations. It means at some point, for example, they're going to be rescued and then put on different boats which are going to go to different ports and harbors, so obviously they're going to be separated. So colleagues, for example, from the Italian Red Cross and Maltese Red Cross have been working with safe and rescue boats to tell them to watch out, not to separate families, or in case it has been, they're going to have the information and they're going to be able to reconnect them quickly. There was quite a crazy story once of a mother who was medically evacuated from a boat to Malta, and the kids proceeded on to Italy, and straight away, as the Maltese Red Cross and Italian Red Cross were aware of it, they were able to reconnect the family. So these are things we do as to also make sure that migrants who are detained can communicate with their family members. And this is a way to prevent anxiety and anguish from the families and from them also reporting their relative as missing.
And finally, and very briefly, what can those watching this interview at home do to help?
Please, talk about Trace the Face, tracetheface.org. Go on the website, and of course, if you are aware of anybody looking for a missing relative, tell them to go to Trace the Face.
Okay, Lucille Marbeau from the International Red Cross, thank you very much for coming in to talk to us today here on France 24. Thank you very much.